All right, boys and girls, here we are. We're back again with another vocabulary strategy for the week. And this week, we're actually working with homophones. So, as we go through this, hopefully you have some prior knowledge about homophones. Basically, the word phones in that bigger word gives you a clue that we're going to be talking about sounds because the Greek and Latin root, as we already learned, phono means sound. So we're going to be talking about words that sound exactly the same, but they are spelled differently and have different meanings. Okay? So that's what we're going to be thinking about today. Let me zoom out a little bit. All right. All right, so I want to start off with just a couple ones that are really familiar to you. And remember, they're going to sound exactly the same, but they are spelled differently and they have different meanings, okay? So we're going to start with flower and flower. Obviously, those sound exactly the same, but this flower with the O-U-R spelling pattern actually means like the kind of flour that you bake with. Okay, that you would put in a recipe. So like flour that you bake with in a box. This type of flour is the one we're probably most familiar with, and that's spelled with the O-W-E-R. And that's this type of flour that grows out of the ground. And those are called homophones, again, because they sound exactly the same, but they're spelled differently and they have different meanings. Okay? What you can think in your head is sound the same, different spelling, different meaning. That's a really easy way to remember it. Sound the same, different spelling, different meaning. Another one that you're probably really familiar with is ate and ate. Okay? ATE is the past tense of the word eat, right? So when we say the word ate, ATE, we're talking about putting something in our mouth to eat, okay, in the past. All right, and then this one, as most of you know, is the number 8. But they sound exactly the same. That's okay because they're homophones. We just have to know that they're spelled differently and they have different meanings. All right, then we have the words right and right. Now, this is tricky because not only is it a homophone or part of a homophone pair, but it also has different meanings. So we can turn to the right. Okay, so when we're talking R-I-G-H-T, we can turn to the right, or we can get something right, like we can get it correct. And those are both spelled R-I-G-H-T, okay? This right is the one that you do in our class every day with a pencil, okay? If you were to write a story or write something, that's going to be spelled with the W-R-I-T-E, and then R-I-G-H-T is when you're turning right or when you get something correct or right. Then the English language likes to throw us for an even bigger loop, and sometimes there are groups of words, groups of homophones, that have 3 words that are spelled the same, or I'm sorry, sound the same, but are spelled differently and have different meanings. So when we look at these 3 words, if scent starts with the C, we're talking about money, okay? Money. So like 25, what am I doing? Yeah, that was right. 25 cents, okay? All right, and then if it starts with the S and the C, so we have cent as in money, and then this type of scent with the S and the C is talking about like our sensory details or our 5 senses, and that's like the scent that you would smell with your nose, okay? And then the last scent with just an S is if you were to put something in the mail, right, you would have sent that. So we have sent, sent, and sent. They all sound exactly the same, but they have different spelling patterns and different meanings. So remember, repeat after me. Homophones sound the same, different spelling, different meaning. Sound the same, different spelling, different meaning. All right, So you might be saying then, Mrs. Sisney, how do I know which one or what it means in the sentence? Okay, and in that instance, we're actually just going to use our context clues like we have talked about all year long. You're going to read the sentence and you're going to use the words around the homophone to figure out what it means. So we're going to actually do number 1 in our workbook, our Your Turn book, together. Okay? So if you could go grab your Turn book. If you don't have it, that would be great. So now that you have your Turn book, we're going to read the directions together and then complete number 1. Read each sentence below. Underline the context clues that help you understand the meaning of each homophone in bold. So bold means like the darker, more obvious word. Then write the correct definition of the homophone on the line. So we have to do 2 things here. The first thing we have to do is underline context clues. That's the first thing we have to do is underline context clues. And then the second thing we have to do is write the definition of that bold word. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and read the example for number 1. And then after we're done going over that, you'll do numbers 2 through 5 on your own. So number 1, I bet you've learned a lot of new things from Mr. Breasted, her mother said. I'm going to read it again because it was kind of jumbled in my head that first time I read it. I bet you've learned a lot of new things from Mr. Breasted, her mother said. So the bold word or the darker word is new. When I think about that word new in my head, I know that I can have something that is sparkling, clean, shiny. I just got it, and that's something new. Or I can also know something in my brain or in my head, and that also is the word new. So those are the homophones. I need to figure out, using context clues in the sentence, I need to figure out which new this is, okay? And so right now, I see that there's this word learned. Oh, I'm sorry, it says underlined. Underline, that learned, and then things. So when I learn things, that tells me right off, when I learn things,